The Business Buzz, an insightful and fresh take on a variety of issues that impact the local business environment. This is where we address the business topics that matter. Here's your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning, everybody. Happy rainy Thursday morning. I don't think we were expecting that much rain so hard, so early. At least I know I was not. My dog definitely was not. We were at a loss. When is she going to get walked? I didn't know what to do. But, I found a little dry patch for a couple minutes there. We got the walk, made it in. I know that the roads are really heavy with traffic right now. I know that places are really backed up, so do take your time. I know it can be frustrating. If you've let your employer know, that's great. If you haven't, they should be pretty understanding of the weather and what's going on. If you had a chance to listen to Money Sense from 7:30 this morning with Emil Kalinowski, that was an absolutely amazing show, and he was talking about precious metals. So go back to our YouTube if you did not get to hear Emil talking about precious metals, and really was the U.S. president's first trip in his presidency to Africa, and he went to Angola, and it was really about the precious metals market and why it's kind of booming, and the importance of it, understanding these different country allegiances to each other. So I love that show. It was great, a great way to start off the morning on Radio Cayman. And right now, from the Department of Labor and Pensions, I have Senior Labor and Pensions Inspector Sasha Rankin-Ricketts and Senior Labor and Pensions Inspector Elizabeth McIntosh. Good morning, ladies. How are you doing today?
Good morning. Very good. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for having us here. We are happy to be here, actually.
Excellent. I know that I'm glad you made it, because I know the rain was something else. So.
Yes, just on time.
Just on time, but you made it, so well done, well done.
Mm-hmm.
And I had you anyways. We could have started a couple minutes later. I had a couple things to talk about, so
okay,
I had you. I know what it's like with the weather out there. So just to give people a bit of a background, the Department of Labor and Pensions is the National Regulator of Labor and Pensions Compliance and Enforcement. They are here to make sure the laws surrounding labor and pensions are complied with. The primary mission of the Department of Labor and Pensions is to engage, educate, and oversee labor and pensions compliance and enforcement within the private sector. And that's new to me, because I thought that you also dealt with civil servants, yeah. Oh, yeah, nice. So that was news to me.
Yes.
So I learn a lot on this show.
Yes.
Trust me. So part of the education mission is carried out through training programs, and one of these programs is a quarterly training on the Labor Act 2021 revision, which provides participants with greater knowledge and understanding of the Labor Act, roles and responsibilities of employers and employees, entitlement, and proper procedures. So in saying all that, I'm again welcoming the ladies to the show. that was our big intro right there.
Yes.
Ladies, if you could tell us what your role is with the Department of Labor and Pensions.
Okay, well, I'm Senior Labor and Pensions Inspector Sasha Rankin-Ricketts. I'm currently with the labor team. My main function in the labor unit is gratuities, which is a whole different talk show.
Ooh.
Okay. We did that, I think, earlier this month, but we plan to come back to, talk more about gratuities, because that's a real hot topic, But today, we're here to focus on one of our other functions, which is the training of the Labor Act. Now, this affects everyone in the private sector. So you have to know what your rights are as an employee and as an employer. Both are actually covered under the Labor Act. We don't support, or we don't actually represent either employee or employer. We're here to actually enforce what the Labor Act says. Okay, so
you're representing the law, kind of.
Yeah, so we need that message to be very, very clear, because a lot of people think that we're here for the employees only, and some employees think we're here for the employers only, and that's not the case. So that's why training is very important. We want everyone to be familiar with the Labor Act, so then they know as an employee or employer what they can and cannot do as they're working in that workforce. So we are trying our best, and even if it's not a quarterly basis, if an entity has a few employees that they want to be trained outside of our quarterly training session, we will try our best to accommodate them. We will go to them. We did one just yesterday, which was fantastic. And that's why we're here. We want to promote and encourage people to take advantage of this. It is really good. It's interactive. You get an opportunity to meet people like us. And it gives you that one-on-one where you can ask those questions that you may not wanted to call and ask. You have the personal, in front of us. And that's a perfect opportunity to answer all of your questions. And there's food.
Yeah. And that's always
And
the
there's
draw.
food.
Well, thank you, Sasha. Elizabeth, if you could tell us a little bit about your role with the Department
Sure.
of Labor and
I am
Pensions.
Senior Labor and Pension Inspector Elizabeth McIntosh. I also, as Ms. Rickett, I do work in the labor team, with the labor team. And I don't deal with gratuity directly as Miss Sasha, but I do give her a hand here and there.
Yes.
And the one that oversee the training, so the registration, the booking, etc. So I'm encouraging, inviting everyone to come and join us. Our next training coming up next December 5th. And the spaces are limited, so go to our website, register, call me. We'll talk a little bit more about that more ahead. But yes, we encourage. And again, I can't do without saying this. Hablamos español.
Yep. Okay. All right. Excellent. Thank you. Because that's a very real situation. We have a lot of Spanish-speaking
Yes.
people in Cayman, and again, a lot of people don't know all the laws surrounding the Labor Act, right? They don't know,
Yes.
All right.
and I think it's a little odd to think that the common person is just going to go and read what the laws are.
That's
That doesn't
reality.
happen.
Yes.
We
it's
don't do
true.
that.
Until there's
Right.
trouble.
Right, exactly.
Yes,
Until
yes.
there's trouble.
Mhm.
But I think trainings like this offers a great opportunity, as you said, Sasha, to have that kind of foundational knowledge,
Correct.
to ask the questions that you might have in the back of your mind that you're not entirely sure about, especially if you're new coming to Cayman. What might have been okay in your country might not be per law in Cayman. So it's good to know what those differences are as well. So if you could give us, I guess, an overview on exactly what is involved in this training, Sasha.
Okay, so the training overall covers, we try to compact the entire Labor Act into a half-day training session. Now that we deals with the main things such as statement of working conditions, which yesterday, those that were in attendance in our training may have nightmares about the word statement of working conditions, because we stress that that is the most important document. So we want everyone to be aware that that is the first thing you get, or you should get, when you're employing someone, or you give that when you're employing someone, or you get it as an employee.
What is in the statement of working conditions?
Everything. So you should have what your responsibilities are, the hours of work, your vacation entitlement. If you're a female, your maternity leave, because the Labor Act does not cover paternity leave. It gives you everything that you are entitled to as an employee. And then the employer has that opportunity to outline what is expected of you, your duties and your responsibilities. So from day one, it is absolutely clear of what you are expected to do. So there's no, I didn't know, but you sign a contract at the beginning saying that these are your responsibilities and you have accepted that. So that is the most important document. And we try to stress that during the training. And then we move on from the statement.
Hold on. Is that different? So the statement of working conditions, is that different to a job contract?
It's basically the same. It goes hand in hand, but the Labor Act just referenced statement of working conditions.
Okay.
So some people will put the terms of employment in just a contract, but then some will put it all in the statement of working conditions. So the Labor Act does speak that your job description, the time that you have to work, should be in your statement of working conditions. And, that document should be issued to an employee within 10 days of their employment.
Okay.
Right.
So that's one of the things
That's
that
the
we cover.
main things. So we cover things such as vacation pay, public holiday pay, gratuities, which, we spend the last session, we didn't thought we was going to spend so much time on that, but we actually did. Liz, we have the sick leave, it just basically it's the Labor Act in a compact session but we still give time to those in attendance to have those questions answered. And we do have sessions where if an employer said, we just want you to come in and focus on leave, we'll just tailor a session for that leave section so they can actually get the information they're seeking from that. So if you look, it's everything the Labor Act covers, we try to give you.
Okay. How long, or wait, before I go there, did you want to add anything to what
sure.
Sasha was saying?
The training as well, because people, as you said earlier, they have the right to know what their rights are. Because even sometimes you think, one of the common things people tend to say, oh, you have 10 days vacation per year. The Labor Act does not speak of 10 days. The Labor Act mentioned 2 weeks. So it very depends on your standard work week. If your standard work week is 5 days per week, then it's 10 days. Your 2 weeks will be 10 days. If your standard work week is 6 days, then your 2 weeks will be 12 days.
But is your standard work week allowed to go over the, I guess, what's considered the maximum hours per week for full-time? Does that question make sense?
Yes.
Okay. And it does it.
Does.
We have a lot of people have contracts that say, for example, your standard work day is 8 hours and your standard work week is 40 hours. Now, the employers sometimes may say, well, the Labor Act says the maximum is 9, so we're not going to pay you overtime till after 9 hours. That is incorrect, because you issued a statement saying that your standard work day is 8 hours. So any hour that is work in excess of that 8-hour work day will be considered overtime.
Okay.
So that's why, again, we go back to the statement of working conditions. What terms did you agree to? Because anything in excess of that will be considered overtime for that employee. But an employee should not work more than 4 to 5 hours a week or 9 hours a day. That's the maximum.
As per
the Labor Act.
Okay.
And with that said, if you work more than that said 45 or 9 hours per day, then that's when your overtime kicks in. Yes. And that employee is entitled to be paid at time and a half for every hour after that.
Okay. I remember back in Canada working on movie sets. I couldn't wait for time and a half and double time to kick in. Different industry, though.
Yeah,
Completely different industry. We got to go to our first commercial break, and when we come back, we will continue the discussion with the Department of Labor and Pensions.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future.
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance
or protecting your family's household investment.
From our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
When it comes to keeping the office spotless, we rely on JGP Janitorial. With over 20 years of experience in office and business cleaning, they understand what it takes to maintain a professional environment.
Reliable, efficient, and priced right. GJP Janitorial is the smart choice for any business. For a free quote, call GJP Janitorial 548-1221. GJP Janitorial. Lose the mop. They'll clean the slop. That's 548-1221. Keep your business shining.
Talk Today is going on the road. Radio Cayman is pleased to broadcast Talk Today live from the credit union on Thursday, October 17th in honor of International Credit Union Day.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Business Buzz. You almost caught me not paying attention, but, you know, the last second I like to chip right in. We are talking with the Department of Labor and Pensions, and I have in studio Senior Labor and Pensions Inspector Sasha Rankin-Ricketts and Senior Labor and Pensions Inspector Elizabeth McIntosh. We were just getting a bit of an overview on what the upcoming training is on the Labor Act 2021 revision. And I know we were talking a little bit about the topics, but just to get some of those details out, because I don't think we did it yet. When is the training course, the upcoming one? And is there a cost? And how long is the course?
Absolutely. So our last training for this 2024 is December 5th, and it's going to be held at the Government Administration Building. And yes, you have a cost of $75 per attendee. But that $75 is well worth for what you're going to learn, what you're going to take away with you. And then Miss Sasha said, we're going to have food. And you're going to walk out with a certificate signed by the director.
Okay.
So, and you're going to have your copy of the Labor Act. You're going to have the opportunity to ask your questions, to answer, to clarify what is not straight. Because sometimes the way how you interpret it is not necessarily the right way. Funny
Isn't
enough,
that funny how that happened?
Yes, Miss Sasha was given an example of the 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's not that the Labor say you should pay 30 days. It should not exceed 30 days without being paid. It doesn't mean that you have 30 days extra or grace period to pay this person for the wages. So if you said this person is being paid weekly, it should be paid weekly. If you said this person is being paid monthly, it should be paid monthly. Not that the 30th of September, I got until the 30th of October to pay. No.
What happens when an employer says, hey, business isn't looking really good right now. I can't quite pay you. Oh, hold on, maybe maybe in a week, so your check's going to be late a week, but then it goes past those 30 days, and that employee cannot get their pay. I know it's happening now. I've seen it happen. I've been employed by certain people on island where it was that case. So what happens for the employee in that scenario?
Well, we invite them to visit us. And we will do our very best to mediate and speak to the employer, see what happened, see if we can come to an agreement for this person to be paid his earned wages. And if that doesn't happen, then unfortunately a file will be compiled and we'll seek legal advice and see for that person to be paid for what they had worked for. And then a decision will be taken by the legal department if it go to court or not.
What kind of
Yes, it is an offense, first off. So what we try to instill in employers is you have a legal obligation to your employees. That should be one of your top priorities when it comes to bills at the end of the month or whatever the pay period is. Now, if you, for some reason, get in a position where, okay, I know I have to pay you, but I'm going to be a day or two late, relay that to your employees. They may be understanding. They may have been with the company 15, 20 years, and they have that understanding. Okay, 2 days isn't so bad. 2 months, we got a problem.
Yeah.
So if they come to us, like my colleague stated, we try to mediate that matter as best as possible, because that is one of our aims, is mediate. We don't like having to send matters to the summer court, but if we have to, we will. And that is something we let both parties know. We don't represent you, but the only how we can get it resolved is if the Director of Public Prosecution says to us, it is in fact in the best interest of the public for this matter to be sent to the summer court. Once the director agrees, it's sent there, and they both have to present evidence. So the DPP presents evidence based on what the Labor Act says should be done. The employer has an opportunity to do the same, and then the magistrate makes a decision to say when and how these wages should be paid to that employee. So we try our best, but it is an offense. And I think that's the key factor that employers need to understand. You don't have that liberty or the choice to say when you choose to pay that employee outside of the terms and conditions that you've agreed to.
Thank you for explaining that so well, because I think you did explain that in great depth. One of the frustrations I would say that would come out of that is it's hard for an employee who, a lot of us live paycheck to paycheck, right? Or just about on that kind of cusp. And it's, man, if I'm chasing you to get my month or 2 months wages, and then it becomes a court thing. So hopefully we don't want it to go to court. So I appreciate the mediation coming in from the DLP. But if it does go to court, it could take a long time. It could take more than a year, a couple of years. And with a company or a company owner that might have the money to fund themselves in court, and the employees does not have that same financial backing, that employee is likely to give up.
Well, the good thing is, it's not the employee that has to go to court to present evidence. It will be the DPP who's presenting evidence based on what the Labor Act says has been a breach.
That's
so
great.
It isn't that, again, we're not defending that employee. We're saying to the employer, you've breached the Labor Act, which is an offense, and now you're being possibly charged for that offense, which would entail that employee wages being paid.
Great. So you are still involved further.
Correct.
Okay, great.
So
I
we're
didn't know
still
that.
the officer, but we're not the one that is prosecuting the matter. Because again, and thank God, we do not say who's right or who's wrong. We just provide guidance and say, hey, it's in your best interest. This is what the Labor Act says. Let's try to resolve it. If we can't, for whatever reason, then we hand it over graciously to the magistrate and let them do their job to bring that matter to a resolution. But obviously, we still will have to give evidence if required in court.
A part of me chuckles when you're like, thank God.
Yes.
We don't say who's right or wrong.
We don't, no.
But at the same time, you know who's right or wrong.
Yes,
but we can't always.
We can't, no.
Got it. Yeah, I understand. You have to know the boundaries.
Yes, we do.
Boundaries within that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the importance of this training session. Miss Liz can explain to us what she requires in order for you to be properly signed up. So when you walk in the door, we know we were expecting you and there's no surprises.
Yeah, so as I said, the date is approaching quickly and the space are very limited. So encourage people to visit our website. Miss Sacha going to tell us.
Oh, gosh.
To visit our website, or they can also email me directly to elizabeth.mcintosh2@gov.ky, and they will need to complete our registration form, which I think I have someone on here. Yeah, a registration form. Email it either to our DLP mailbox or to myself directly, and the payment will, if you pay to secure your space.
Absolutely.
So, and as I said, it's getting busy. Yeah. So, unfortunately, who comes first serve first. So the quicker you pay to secure your spot. This $75, as I said, cover light refreshment, the training. It covers the knowledge that you're going to walk away with, and a certificate that you will have at the end of the training.
And that email is dlp@gov.ky.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
And the website, I think, is gov.ky/DLP.
Right. So we also have our dedicated website, which is www.dlp.gov.ky.
Okay.
So once they go in there, they'll see our lovely upgraded website. Like, I am so proud of our department. We have such an amazing website going on. I go on it daily just because it's so amazing. It's user friendly.
Yes,
so
very important.
Yes.
Excellent.
So I encourage everyone. All of our laws are there. Labor laws, pension laws, everything is there. Our calendar for our training for the labor unit, the pension unit, and the inspections unit is there as well. And the last time I checked, it has been updated for the remaining training for this year. And like Miss Liz said, we can't stress it enough. We have been having a lot of people that's reaching out to us about this training. Now, you can't just fill out the form and submit it and expect that the spot will be secured. We need the form and the payment to ensure that your spot is secure, because we don't want to disadvantage anyone who wants this spot, but because we just have a form for someone saying we're interested, we're holding, say, 5 spots or 5 spaces for those individuals, but we haven't received the confirmed payment as yet.
How can they pay? Is it online as well?
So our payment, no, unfortunately, because our department are a smaller department, so the payment should be in check or bank draft issued to the Cayman Island government.
Okay.
And it will be paid to our department, which is located on the 2nd floor at Midtown Plaza.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
So we encourage them to submit payment along with the registration form.
Now, is this open to everybody, employers and employees?
Everyone.
Okay.
And we try to encourage the young Caymanians as well, who is just, entering the workforce. It is very important for them. So we reach out to all of those young Caymanians to take advantage of it. It's just $75. And the good thing is, we are also getting ready to have a giveaway.
I was supposed to mention that. We're having a giveaway.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, we
so
are.
now people can call in. Yes.
No, not today.
Well, our giveaway, we are using our platforms.
Yes, so we're using our social media platforms to do it. So we are here also to encourage people to go to our Instagram pages. Our page is just one. And that is our Instagram page. I cannot see. Oh, right. So it's DLP Cayman for the Instagram.
I'm glad you remembered, because I'm like, oh no, I can't see
No,
either.
and if not, I have it on my phone, because I live there as well, to make sure that, because we always posting. So twice a week, we have new posts from various sections in the department. So this week, I know we had the inspections team was off-site doing training. So we have some lovely pictures there showing that training. And we also have, if there's holidays coming up, we post, just little snippets reminding employees and employers of what is their entitlements, what should be done.
So you're using your social media pages
So
as
we're
a bit of
using
outreach,
that.
education,
Exactly.
awareness. We got to go to a commercial break right now, but we'll come back. We're going to take a couple calls if anybody does have them. If it's about a particular case you might have, we're not here to answer those. It's just more so about the training, anything to do with the Labor Act. And the numbers are 949-6990, 1-800-534-8255, 949-8037, or you can WhatsApp 925-3261.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
When it comes to keeping the office spotless, we rely on JGP Janitorial. With over 20 years of experience in office and business cleaning, they understand what it takes to maintain a professional environment.
Reliable, efficient, and priced right. GJP Janitorial is the smart choice for any business. For a free quote, call GJP Janitorial 548-1221. GJP Janitorial. Lose the mop. They'll clean the slop. That's 548-1221. Keep your business shining.
I'm Michael Webster.
And I'm Denise Brown of Cayman Insurance Center.
Family is not the most important thing, it's everything.
We have worked with the community and their families on protecting themselves for the future,
Whether it's providing top-rated life insurance,
or protecting your family's household investment.
from our family to yours, we understand and we care.
I'm Denise Brown. Call me at 814-7229.
And I'm Michael Webster at 925-5433.
We are Cayman Insurance Center.
Specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services at an affordable rate. We are Michael and
Denise at Cayman Insurance Center.
Call today.
I am Daryl Dakers from Health for Today, and I'm here with Carlos Ibais. Carlos, your brother Mario mentioned that you were feeling really down, both mentally and physically, so he purchased a bottle of Optimal Balance and gave you.
That is correct. I was feeling so very down and out, lonely, sad, depressed, zero energy, unable to sleep, pretty much in the dumps. But once I began taking those Optimal Balance, let me tell you, it was a transformation from the dumps to the top of the mountain. I cannot thank Health for Today enough for giving me a life worth living.
This is no surprise. With its balanced vitamins and minerals, Optimal Balance for men and women helps your body with healing and to perform at its optimal best. It's great for sleep, brain fog, mood, stress, and mental clarity. Optimal Balance is one of the most comprehensive and complete supplements in the world. So call Health for Today at 928-1503 or visit our website, that is healthfortoday.ky. Health for Today, dedicated to helping others.
Mention that you've heard this ad on Radio Cayman and get an automatic 5% discount off your next purchase.
The Business Buzz with your host, Kathy Miller.
Welcome back to the Business Buzz. I'm your host, Kathy Miller, and we are speaking with the Department of Labor and Pensions. We are talking about their upcoming training program, which is held on December 5th at the Government Administration Building, and it is on the Labor Act 2021. It's open to all employers, all employees, and Sasha was telling us, especially if you're like a younger Caymanian, it's a great training to understand what's expected of you as an employee when you're first going into a job, and also what it gives you an idea of what your employers, did I say that what your employers will expect of you? Yeah, I did. But also it gives an idea for the employers on how they need to be presenting their employees with certain documentations and going through certain procedures so they are compliant with the law. All right, ladies, I'd like to know what some of the most common themes are or questions when the employees are coming into this training. What are some of the most common things that they're asking?
Okay. Well, the first thing that came to mind when I was driving here this morning was the weather. So very recently, we had that bad weather that passed that the government says, you know what? Stay at home, shelter at home. So no one was able to go to work. Now, during this time, our phones, our email is nonstop because the employees are not able to work. So the employers and employees want to know, well, are we supposed to pay the employees for those days? And the employees like, well, I got short. My pay was short for this period. Now, the employers have no control over the Mother Nature. Like, none of us does. When I woke up this morning, I did not expect it to be pouring rain. Okay. If my boss knew, I'm quite sure she would have told me, leave home a little bit earlier. No one knows. So when those cases happen and you're not able to work, then that employer is not obligated to pay that employee because the Labor Act requires employees to be paid for work carried out. Now, we do have those employers who says and understands that it is at no fault of my employees why they're unable to work. We're still going to pay them for it. That is great. But if there are employers who says, you know what, there was no work done, we didn't have any funds coming in, we can't afford to pay you for that day that no work was done, it is not a breach of the Labor Act.
Wait, so I've got a question. That's very interesting to me because I thought the opposite. So, for example, construction workers. So when it's pouring down rain, they really can't go and work out there, right? But I was under the impression, so if you signed a contract for, I'm going to go with government weekly, it's expected 37.5, for example, for government, or I think 40 in private. So if you sign saying, okay, 37.5 hours, this is what I'm supposed to be working weekly, I thought that no matter what, the employee is paid up to those 37.5 hours, no matter what the weather does.
No, it's based on the hours you work, especially because if your contract says you're hourly paid, and even if you have a salary, that salary is based on the hours that you work. The hours that you're expected to work is stated in your contract. Now, if for some reason you're unable to attend work, for example, Mother Nature, then you're not compensated. By law, it's not illegal for that person not to pay you for those hours because you didn't carry out your work functions that you legally should do under your contract. So if you don't work, you don't get paid unless you're on vacation or you're on sick leave. Those types of leave that keep you from working, you're then obligated to be paid, and the sick days are 10 days per year. So if you exceed that, then obviously you're not paid for those days as well, those extra days.
I didn't know that. You definitely taught me something.
So that is one of the hot topics, especially during hurricane season. And we also have the public holidays.
Okay.
So we have a lot of employers. We were like, okay, well, Monday was a public holiday and they didn't pay the employees. Why not? The Labor Act is clear. As long as that person works their scheduled day, and we stress the word scheduled because it doesn't necessarily mean the day before or the day after. So your scheduled day before the holiday, your scheduled day after the holiday. Then, we stress a lot more on this. So public holidays is one of the major things that a lot of people don't understand the proper payment procedure. Now, I don't want to give away too much because if I tell everything now, then they're going to come to the training session. But yes, public holidays is one. Sick leave and termination. Termination is one of the biggest topics, as in, okay, well, I was terminated. What is my rights? So we explain the process as, so, okay, if you're terminated, unfair dismissal, you have 90 days from the date of termination to file an unfair dismissal claim. You first have to qualify for that unfair dismissal.
And how would we even find out if they qualify for that?
You call me.
Or my list.
Yeah, so I mean, you can just come in and, we have a policy. We try to see everyone within 24 to 48 hours. We call them if it is required. If it's an emergency, we make every effort to speak to that person right there and then. So the unfair dismissal policy is you should not be on probation. Okay, so if you are employed and you're on probation and the employer says, you know what, it's not working out, and they terminate your employment, then you can't legally file for unfair dismissal.
Because in that probationary period, is it your 24 hours notice?
Right, it's a trial period. So the Labor Act says you should not be on probation in order to qualify for unfair dismissal.
Okay.
If there's no probation period, then you should work more than the 3 months straight of continuous employment in order to qualify for unfair dismissal.
I have a question about probationary periods. They can be extended.
It can.
For how long can they be extended?
So probational period can be the first probational period can be up to 6 months. And it can be extended to additional 6 months. But it'll have to be an agreement between both parties and in writing.
So that's a little scary to me. What would be the advantages of even extending a probationary period into another 6 months? Because understandably, I think, especially if you're new to the island, you won't get your pensions or you won't be contributing to that until after 9 months, correct? So having an extended probationary period, is that not super advantageous for the employer? And it can kind of keep the employee walking on eggshells the whole time?
Well, you can look at it. You can have several views of it. One of them, example, you have an employee that you think they have the passion, they want it, they're trying, but something is just not working. And you think you can see the passion that person have to get it done, to get the job done, to be so you will give them another opportunity to prove themselves, because the probational period is a period to train that person, to give the person the tools to do the job. And as I say, training. Yes, some of them, and again, some of them just don't work out. And then that's when you terminate them within 24 hours. But for some of them that really want it and really trying, that's when you extend the probational period to give them the opportunity to prove themselves and make it well.
Yeah. There's always going to be a bad apple, that not every employer is going to be perfect.
Correct.
You know that,
exactly.
right?
Yes.
So I think you have a really hard job to do.
Yeah, we all do, but The thing is, we have a great support system, as our bosses are very
Great.
supportive. So when I need a mental moment, I have my special corner in
Great.
my boss's office that I will go and have that
Good
communication with them. So we have the support that we need, because it you says, mentally sometimes it can take a toll on you.
Yeah.
While we're not representing anyone, we do deal with a lot of very sad situations.
Yeah.
And, we're humans. I'm a mother, so when you see these situations come in, you have to be strong enough to separate the personal from your work. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you need a breather in order to do that and to be fair, because that's one of our aims, is we always have to be fair to both employer and employee. But, you're emotional. Sometimes you'd be like, okay, I need to take a step back so I could gather myself, so I can be able to properly do my job and do what the Labor Act says. That is always why we're here. So it is hard, but the hardest thing for us is, to make sure that our aim is to make sure we're providing them accurate information based on what the Labor Act says. That's the ultimate goal, is to educate. This is what the law says. This is what we need both parties to do in order for you to have a great relationship at work.
Yeah.
And what Ms. Liz said about the probation, it works for both parties. Mm-hmm. Because as an employee, you might go into an environment thinking that it is the perfect job for you. But 3 months later, you decide, you know what, I was wrong. It's an easy out for you at that time as well, because you now know this isn't where I want to be, or I don't have the skills that I thought I would have had for this job. I'm going to give that 24 hours notice and, seek other employment. So it's not just an advantage for the employer, but it gives that employee the opportunity to figure out if this is where they want to be as well. So it's a period of trial for both.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. I think you ladies explained things wonderfully this morning.
Oh, thank you.
You are back with me on Tuesday for the whole show.
Yes.
We're going to get deeper into things, talking about all the different topics that you were saying, from the vacations, from the gratuity, from the sick leave entitlements, the other benefits. So thank you for joining me this morning. Again, if you'd like to sign up for this Labor Act training with the Department of Labor and Pensions, you can email dlp@gov.ky. You can go to their dedicated website, which Sasha has.
Yeah, so we have our website, which is www.dlp.gov.ky. Or if you can't remember that, just type in Department of Labor and Pensions, Cayman Islands, and it will pop up.
Right. Or DLP Cayman, I think, is the Instagram handle, right?
Right. DLP Cayman is Instagram. We also have Facebook, which is Department of Labor and Pensions. I encourage everyone to go ahead, like our page, follow us. We'd be grateful, because our giveaway is coming up. We have the first giveaway next month, and we're going to aim for the end of this month, actually, to start that giveaway process.
Yeah, and that's for the upcoming training in December. So we're going to have 2 giveaways, one the end of this month, hopefully, and the other one in November.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you, ladies. And I look forward to our discussion on Tuesday morning when you join me back here. And I hope we do get a lot of phone calls then when people want to call and ask questions, again, not to particular cases, but questions in regards to the Labor Act.
Thank you for having us.
All right. And have a dry Thursday as the rest of the day remains ahead of us.
The Business Buzz is proudly sponsored by Cayman Insurance Center, specializing in property, life, and other lines of insurance products and services. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice. And by JGP Janitorial. Lose the mop, they'll clean the slop. JGP Janitorial, 548-1221.
Since 1976.
Covering Grand Cayman, No Cayman, and right. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.